let me get inside of DaVinci here. All right, so you should be able to see it on the screen right now. Let me know if you can see my mouse moving around. Can everyone see that? Let me know there in the chat. And so what I want to do now is I want to walk you through those 4 steps in the strategy, okay? Here's step 1, where we define the target market. So we come over here to My Markets. And what I'm going to do just for this example here is I'm going to create a new target market. And let's see, I'm going to call it direct mail target market, since I know we have a lot of direct mail folks here. And I'm going to tell the system to find content that is related to direct mail. Okay, so that's what I'm doing here. I'm telling the system, go find me some content that's related to direct mail, so that I can then, in step 2, hijack that content to be able to create engagement and siphon leads back to me, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and hit refresh, and then let's go inside of this target market right here, and as you can see, it's come back with a lot of content all related to direct mail. Can you see that here? These are articles that the system has found that have engagement, and what I often will do is I'll sort over here by the different engagement tallies. So I can see, for example, this one is doing fairly well on Facebook, and I've sorted by Facebook here. I can also sort by total engagements. Can you see this here? So this will give you a sense for how well content is doing across the web, across social, okay? So without having to create your own content, you have an idea of A, what kind of content is working, you know, headlines, imagery, thematic content, etc. And B, now you can also use that content. Let me show you. Let's just find one simple example. Let's see here. Let's use this one right here, okay? So when I click on that, it's going to open up from our friends over at Brand United. This is your brain on direct mail. And let's say you read through this, and for your particular needs, this is a good article, okay? Let's say you have a commercial print house, you do print and mail, and you want to talk to your tribe about direct mail and siphon some of that engagement. So let's pretend that's your scenario. I'm going to come back here, right here, and I'm going to say add a call to action to that, okay? So what we're telling the system to do is I want to add that call to action overlay on top of this content, okay, so that we can start to siphon some of that engagement over to us. And we're going to pick this one right here. Actually, let me show you what that looks like first so you have an idea. Here's the preview, okay? So this is that same piece of content. We now have a unique URL for that piece of content with our call to action overlay down here. Do you see that? So in this example, I've added an overlay that I already had created that's a report about the future of direct mail, and the reader can then download a study by clicking this button, okay? So it's pretty congruent with this content up here. So what I'm going to do is say, okay, let's go ahead and launch that. And that looks fine. And what the system is going to do now, part of the magic behind the system here is in step 3 of this process, it's going to actually create an Opti-Channel campaign to be able to help us drive traffic to that, okay? So that's what I'm going to show you now. I've just shown you, first of all, how to define your target market. We made the direct mail target market. I showed you step 2, which is how to hijack some content for that. And now step 3, I'm going to show you how the system actually creates a campaign, like all of the elements that you need, all the Opti-Channel elements that you need to drive traffic to that piece of content, okay? And the reason why you're doing that is so you can siphon engagement from that content and turn it into leads, okay? So let's come back here. And you can see the system has created 2 campaigns for us. One is a drive traffic. This is the kind of Opti-Channel campaign that's going to push people to that piece of content. And this is a capture lead campaign. This is the one that's going to siphon the engagement, okay? So first, let me show you the drive traffic. We load that up. And remember, the system has done all of this on its own already behind the scenes for us, okay? This blueprint, that's what we call this, a blueprint. It's an Opti-Channel blueprint that allows you to do this more quickly and easily. This blueprint is designed to drive traffic to a piece of content. And for this purpose here, we're using the one that we just found a second ago, okay? But it could be anything. But in this case, I'm showing you how to use this one. Now, what's cool about this is, check this out. These are the different Opti-Channel touches that you can use to drive traffic to it. This is an email. And look at this. It's already written most of the email for us. So, of course, you need to come in here and say, thanks for reading this. Oops, can't type today. Love, who do we have here on the line? Just pick on you, Brian. Love Brian. Okay, so you can go in and customize the email. You can hover over any of these areas. They're all editable. You can change the image, but what's really helpful here, what saves a lot of time, is that the system has gone in and pulled out things like the subject line, the pre-header, the image, the text here, so that you have like 80% of it already done. And of course, you can also do the same thing in Facebook. You can do the same thing in LinkedIn. We don't have time to go into all of that today, but the system is going to help you drive traffic. That's the name of this blueprint here, drive traffic to that piece of content. Now, as attentive salespeople, we need to know when certain things are happening to that content. So the system makes it very easy to say, hey, notify me when somebody's opening up an email, okay? Notify me when somebody's visiting this piece of content. When somebody's actually reading it, let me know, okay? And that's what these alerts do here for you. Very helpful, folks, for siphoning the engagement from that piece of content to turn it into something actionable, okay? Now, the last thing I need to do is just schedule when I want this sequence to start and who I want it to target, okay? So if I have a list, a CSV file, or maybe somebody from my database, a list of people from my database, I can say, all right, send it to that group. We could call this our clients, and you pick it from here. This is a list of all the people you've uploaded, set the date and time, and you're good to go. Does that make sense? Now, when people go to this URL, when you're driving traffic to it, let me show you something real quick here. Let me pull it up. Here it is, right? People are going to read this content. They're going to like it. And when they get to the bottom, they're going to see your call to action overlay, and they're going to say, huh, that's interesting. I want to find out more about that. So they click on that button. And what it does is now it takes them to a landing page that you're using to siphon engagement from that piece of content. Does that make sense? Give me an X in the chat if you understand that. We've come from this content here. You have your overlay. You now have something that's thematically related to that content, driving them to a landing page where, in this example, they can download an ebook. I'm just going to do that real quick here for you, just so you see what happens here. And now it says, thank you for sending in your contact information. Check your email to get the ebook. Now, the system, I'm going to show you, has done all of this for me behind the scenes. Let me show you where that is. Sure, let's leave. Here's that campaign right here. It's called a capture lead. This is the one that in step 4 is going to siphon the engagement. Okay, so step 1, we defined the target market. Step 2, I showed you how to hijack some content. Step 3, I showed you how you're driving traffic to that content. And now step 4, you're going to siphon engagement by using a landing page here that's set up to capture information from the interested viewer. Okay, so here's the landing page we just saw. I can come in here. Let's just remove that. Let's say we want to say, welcome to your ebook. I don't know. That's a silly example, right? But I'm just giving you an idea of how you edit the content here. And similar to what we did in the email, we can add more text here. Just hover over those areas and start typing. We can change out the form over here. There's a variety of forms that we can pick from, all with the intent of making it very simple to siphon engagement from the reader, okay? Now, that's the welcome page. Here's the thank you page. Remember, we saw this a second ago, so we can change all of this stuff here. Let's add another exclamation mark. We're super happy today. And that's basically it there, okay? So I'm breezing through the setup of the landing page. That's a very, very important part of the process, because what you're doing is you're now taking readers, turning them into people you can communicate with. And the way you can communicate with them is numerous. You can pick up the phone and call them, or the system has a built-in email sequence that they can start to get. In other words, they can be dripped on by an email sequence here. So as soon as they submit the form in that landing page, you've now siphoned that engagement, and now you're going to nurture them with an OptiChannel drip sequence here. Does that make sense? And just like I showed you a second ago, all of this is editable. You know, now I'm going to pick a different name here. I'm going to put, who should I put? Lisa. Thank you, Lisa, for letting me use your name there. And you get the idea, right? You can add any number of emails, change the subject line, change the image. All of it is 80% done for you. You just got to go in and configure the rest. Now, I didn't show you this, but you can change. I think I see somebody, I think I see someone asking this already. You can change the layout. You know, there's different templates, a variety of different layouts that you can use. You can even make it look, handwritten, very simple. You can change who it's coming from. There's a lot of settings that allow you to customize it. Or if you like getting into the HTML and you have a layout that you want to use that's custom, you can also do that here through the asset library. You load that asset, and then you can use it there in any of your emails. Now, since the whole point of this is to be able to engage with people as they interact with the campaign, similar to what I showed you a minute ago in the drive traffic campaign, here you can get notified when people visit that landing page. Let's say we want to send it to our sales team. Of course, when a lead is created, when somebody submits that form, we need to know that. And this is where you can turn all of that on, okay? So what I just showed you here in just a few minutes, and I'm flying by all of this at a very high level, I showed you the strategy around, number one, how you create a market that is going to collect content for you. This is basically a bucket of thematically related content that already works. And there's a lot of other options here. I don't have time to go into all of it, but that's the first thing we've done here. Second, I showed you how to hijack that content so you can start to then drive traffic to it with the campaigns that the system pretty much sets up for you in advance. And then fourthly, how you can start to siphon that engagement. In other words, take those passive anonymous viewers and turn them into people you can engage with by using this capture lead campaign here to turn those people into someone you can work with. Does that make sense?